This conference will now be recorded.
Hope you all are able to see my screen and to hear my voice properly. Yeah. So I'm Saravanan Srinivasan. I'm going to take you through this performance engineering uh, demo session. We are going to have the journey of performance engineering. So I have close to 11 years of experience in this performance testing and performance engineering stream. I know various performance testing and performance engineering tools. Dynatrace, AppDynamics, JProfiler, URKit, JVisual VM, JControl, Debug, WinDBG, LoadRunner, JMeter, NeoLoad, like that. I have experience in various performance testing and performance engineering tools. I also have experience in working with multiple accounts, multiple technology stack. So that I'm going to share that experience with you people as well during this course journey. Uh, this course journey, how we are planning is that like we are going to have a practical understanding of whatever the concepts that we are learning. Okay, say whatever. If you are trying to learn something related to garbage collection or something related to thread concepts or something related to heap concepts, what we'll be doing is that like we will be first deploy that application. There is a sample application I have. Okay, I have a Apache Tomcat server application, and I also have Node.js server applications. Okay, so what will I do? I will usually share those applications to the students so that they can also deploy that application in their local machines. Okay, and then they can learn about what is garbage collection, what is thread dump analysis, what is heap dump analysis. Like that, we will be doing it. And also, so there are people in this forum already. They are doing certain activities of performance engineering, or they are going to do some activities in performance engineering. There are performance tester who is moving from performance testing to performance engineering, or there are people are developers who interested to learn performance engineering concept, or there are capacity planning engineers, those who are really planning to learn performance engineering. So all those people, those who are really moving their career up in the ladder, so for all of them this course content will be a very very useful thing. Say like I'll show the course content initially, and then we'll maybe move on to a sample of what we are going to learn. Okay. So basically we are going to cover extensively from application side, from infra side, from database side, from profiling side, client side monitoring side, single user performance testing side, and then one APM tool that we are going to learn, which is Dynatrace. Okay, so like that we categorized our course content in such a way we will have a end-to-end understanding. Okay, we will have end-to-end understanding. Initially, what I usually give the understanding to everyone is that like what is performance engineering. First we should know what is performance engineering, what for we are coming to this course journey. So that understanding we will first get into it, and then Java performance engineering concepts, because that is very important. You should know in and out of Java related things, right? Like what is JVM architecture, in JVM monitoring, what we will do, what is heap, what is thread, what is heap analysis, what is thread analysis, how you are going to use JVisual VM or JControl tool to understand about your heap and understand about your thread, and then garbage collection concepts like what is minor GC, what is major GC, what is full GC, like that. I'm going to explain you all the contents. It will not be that theoretical content. I'll I'll show you by configuring the JVM arguments in my Apache Tomcat server, and then I will run the test. I will generate a report, and then we will be validating. That's the way the practical understanding will be there, so that you will get each and everything in a practical learning. And then I'll also explain like what is serial GC, parallel GC, concurrent mark and sweep, and then G1 GC. Because in your organization, maybe they are using certain GC algorithm, but you are not aware of it. By learning this, you will aware that what is serial, what is parallel, what is concurrent mark and sweep, what is G1 GC. In that, which GC algorithm is actually good, which GC algorithm you can implement it so that you will get maximum benefit. Like that, we can understand it. And also JVM thread pool concepts, because if you are creating a single thread for each and every activity, there will be a resource constraint will be there. So people will be going on with the pooling concept. They'll create a pool concepts, and then in that they will say what is your core pool size, what is your maximum core pool size, what is your bounded queue, what is your unbounded queue. All those information I will try to bring in. And then thread related informations, like what is a hanging thread, what is your length of your queue. Yeah, database connection pool also will be learning it, because each database which is connected to a client, how it is establishing a connection, in what way the connection pooling is working. Those understanding also we are trying to bring in here. And then I'll do a thread dump analysis, I'll do a garbage collection analysis, I'll do a out of memory. I'll execute a program in Eclipse. Okay, in Eclipse we'll do execution, and how it is actually giving you a different out of memory exceptions. Because as a performance engineer, we should be knowing like whether the out of memory error is related to your heap memory, or it is something related to your PermGen one, or is it something related to your garbage collection. Like that, we will be checking the different variety of out of memory error that will be receiving in the application. Okay, and then the next one is your infrastructure monitoring. So that is also very important, right? Like nowadays, I don't know, not even performance testers are doing this infrastructure monitoring. Performance testers predominantly only doing a script preparation, they are doing only execution, they are not involved in any of the analysis part. So what we are trying to bring in here is that like you should be knowing a Windows server monitoring and then the Linux server monitoring. Windows server monitoring, I will show all the performance counters, which is critical in nature, which are the things you have to monitor, which are data you have to collect and provide to the end user. If you are getting the pattern of graph, what will you will be inferring from the graph, like that, we are going to have a extensive understanding of your Windows monitors. And similar cases for the Linux monitoring. Nowadays many are not doing the Linux monitoring itself because they don't know how to do it. So what we are trying to bring in here is that like you should be knowing what is vmstat, netstat, iverstat, top, sir, or you can go with the nmon monitoring. All those understanding we are going to get it. So nmon also, what I am going to do, I am going to use a nmon utility, collect the data, bring the data to your local machine, use a utility, how to generate the report. Like that we are going to learn. Okay, so it is a end-to-end learning. In that you will be getting a detailed understanding of how we are going to do our Linux monitoring. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Anybody have any question, please please post your questions. Yes. You do not have any question?
Saravanan, I have a question. So, what is the course duration? How long it will be?
It will be of 25 hours. 25 hours. Sometimes it will spill over 1 or 2 hours. It will be like 27 hours. Yeah, 25 to 27 hours.
Every day 1 hour, right?
Every day 1 hour. Yeah.
Any lab sessions that hands-on you're going to give us? Any lab session that you are going to give some homework to us and we'll be doing some lab work, something like that?
That's what I will be sharing you the information to you all. Even what Apache server we are going to install, how to do the installation, what are the configuration that we are going to do. You guys can do it and then bring it on your post. We will be clarifying.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also you said there is a Nmon utility where you can pull the logs and you can prepare a report, right? Is that utility you are going to share with us after this?
Yeah. All the artifacts will be shared with everyone. Even
Okay.
I have a WAR file with me. It is a Java application. I will share that WAR file with you all. The WAR file will be shared, and then the artifacts will be shared for each and every. Yeah, correct.
Okay. So since you have mentioned the client side performance also, right here. So will you start with the client side or server side first?
We'll be covering the all the procedure is actually like this. We are going to learn about what is performance engineering, and then Java related concept, and then Infra related concept, DB related concept, and then client engineering. That is how we sequential we manage.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that client side performance monitoring guys nowadays very talk of the market maybe because everyone's interest is towards this client side performance monitoring because many I would say the performance testing tools are lack in this metric, right? That is the reason people are interested towards that. It is not only we call it as client side monitoring, nowadays it is called as end user monitoring, end user experience. So we will be covering Chrome Dev Tool, GT Metrics, web page test, and then Chrome Lighthouse tool like that. We'll be learning that client side end user monitoring in detailed way.
Okay.
Sure. We'll come back to our thing. So we are going to learn about database performance monitoring also. In that we are covering a Oracle database monitoring. In Oracle database, those who are working in Oracle database, they usually have a understanding of AWR reports, automatic workload repository report, and then ADDM reports, automatic diagnostic database monitoring. So you will have AWR reports, ADDM reports, ASH report, how to do that analysis like that. We are going to learn in depth about that database monitoring, and then client side monitoring also, as I mentioned. See, there are people only do scripting in load runner, JMeter, new load performance center, or Gatling, Blazemeter like that. They are only doing that activity, and they did not have any understanding of what is time to first byte, what is time to visual change, or even what is load time, what is full load time. All those information people will not aware of it. So what we are bringing in here, we are trying to bring in the understanding of each and every metric, client side metric. If there is an increase in time to first byte, what could be the issue? If there is a change in increase in visual change, means what is the issue? If there is a change in load time, means what is the issue? Like that, we are going to understand each and every metric with respect to the client side monitor, so that going forward, your approach in doing the performance analysis will be little different. Earlier, you will do only client side metrics like response time, hits, throughput, error, average transaction response. These are the things people usually submit to the end user, right? The performance testers, I'm saying. So after this course journey, your way of doing things will be little different. Your submission will be little different. Your server metric analysis and then client side metric analysis will be little different. That is the way we are going to learn all these concepts. And then
Saravanan, one last question. Yeah, I think you're already showing it. So are you covering any profilers?
yeah, Sunil, we are covering two things. One is your kit and then JProfiler. In that Jeff, your kit we are going to show for the analysis, thread and heap analysis. Similarly, we are going to use JProfiler tool for that monitoring of your JVMs. That extensive learning will be there, and also we are going to give you a industry-leading APM tool analysis, which is a, Dynatrace tool learning. In Isha, actually, we are giving a separate training session for separate 15 hours of training for Dynatrace. We are going to give that understanding here in this performance engineering session, because as a performance engineer you should be knowing all the utility tools, all the APM tools, so that so sometimes if you are into a project, what will happen, the account team will say like, we have these tool set. With the available tool set, how we are making your job little easy, because you should not spend the time in identifying the root cause of the issue itself, right? So you should be knowing a APM tool understanding also, you should be knowing a utility tool understanding, you should be knowing a profiling tool understanding. So that is a reason in our course content we designed in such a way we are covering all the things, because once you are into the project, once you are into the account, you should have all the things, you should be equipped with all this knowledge, so that you can straight away go and analyze your performance issue or capacity issue or whatever the issue, and then you are trying to overcome those things with your knowledge. That is how we are planned, we designed this course content. And then finally real time issue, because you should be knowing like production load analysis means what, and then what are all the possible CPU issues, possible memory issues will come in the application, because you should have the prior knowledge. It is not that you can go and learn certain things. You should be having a prior knowledge on what are all the possible CPU issues, what are the possible memory issues will come, so that if there is a error comes, you should have that understanding already. So that is the reason we are bringing in this feature with this course content as well. So these are the course content that we are going to learn uh, as part of the course content. Uh, any question till now, guys? We'll move on to the understanding of this course content. You guys are good with the course content, right? Basically,
Yes, Arun.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Thanks,
Hello.
Amarjit. Thanks. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Swapnil.
So when we are talking about these bottlenecks, we are going to test all of these applications on our local application, your local application, right?
Local application means like what you are asking. I did not get you.
I mean, how will you generate bottlenecks in the application which we are going to test? Have you generated such scenarios, or we are going to test some live application or something like that?
Yeah, we are going to test a live application only. Uh, uh, for now, for the demo session, maybe I will show a sample of it. Okay, how we really do it. But usually, I have a Linux server, AWS Linux server, and I have a AWS Windows server. Okay, so we can connect it to those machines, and then we can do our learning as well. Okay, so an example. Since you asked the question, no, I'll show like this. Like I have a Apache Tomcat server. Okay,
Okay.
Apache Tomcat server, which is I can start that server. For now, I'm starting in my local, but we can start it in the AWS machine also, AWS Windows machine. Okay, say like I can start this instance. Say I am going to start the server also. This what I will do, during our course journey. I will tell you how to install this Apache Tomcat server, how to do the pre-configuration, and how to deploy my WAR file. Actually, I have a WAR file. This WAR file. I have a WAR file. Okay, this WAR file. this WAR file, how to deploy it into the Apache Tomcat server. Okay, and then how we are going to launch the application. Okay, say the server is actually starting now. You can see the console is having data loading. In the meantime, what will I do? I'll go to sample only. Okay, today we are going to show only the sample. So I can go to Java JDK bin. Inside that I can go to our JVisual VM. I'll also in the parallelly I'll also go here. Everything I'm starting now for our learning. So I have a JMeter also with me. So what I'm going to do, I am going to start the JMeter instance also. So we'll see my server started. Yeah, my server started. So what I can do, I can say in real world, what we can do, we can have it in a different login also. We can do that. So I'm going here. I'm checking my application is actually starting or what. Yeah, it is starting. My application is up and running. It is working. This application only I mentioned, like I'm going to share with you all this WAR file I'm going to share with you, so that you guys can deploy it in your machine. You can also deploy to your local or deploy to your own VM machine or your own AWS machine, wherever you have your machine available. And then I already have a uh, JMeter script prepared. Okay, JMeter script prepared. Say I'm opening that JMeter script. Okay, now you can see how the useful thing that we can do. This is a sample that I'm showing you, but when we are going for our real world real sessions, day-to-day session, that time we'll be having a different understanding of how, what, why we are doing this, how to understand this. All those information will be there. Okay, so now you can see in my Apache Tomcat server, I'm monitoring in JVisual VM. Okay, this is how the heap, thread, CPU, class level monitoring will be happening in the tool. Say for now, what I'm doing, I'm going here to the thread tab. I'm going to the thread tab. You can see every threads are there in the park status. Park status is nothing but threads are created, but it is not doing any activity. It is still on an idle state. Okay, it is still on an idle state. It did not do any real activity. Okay, it did not do any real activity. So what I'm doing purposefully, I'm giving some 20 user load in JMeter to hit this application. To hit this application. So purposefully, I'm starting this test. Okay, when the load testing is started, the Lotus script will trigger what? It will hit my Apache Tomcat server. Apache Tomcat server should serve the request, right? We will see what is happening. The console is actually loading. On the heap side, you can see how memory is accumulated, resetted. There is a pattern that is actually following. What is that meaning? Your heap memory is accumulated and garbage collection is actually reducing your memory. You can go to the Visual GC. You can see the N generation is actually filling and then resetting. Eden generation is filling and then resetting. While the Eden generation is resetting, you can see there is a garbage collection column which is keep on hitting. You can see all the garbage collection which are coming. So when we are going for our regular course journey, what I will do, I will explain each and every tab here. Each and every tab here. Basically, we'll be doing this thread status, and then we'll be doing this memory status, and then we'll be doing this garbage collection status. Like that we are going to learn. This is a sample that I showed you, but we'll be learning our heap dump, we'll be learning our thread dump, what is the thread status, when if it is there in the block status means what will I do, like that we'll be learning. Swapnil, you're clear with whatever I mentioned, Swapnil?
Yeah.
So you can also, I'll also say like go to this Apache JMeter one simply. We are not going to monitor Apache JMeter, but I just want to show you.
Saran, meanwhile, one question. So, what is the major differences between JVisual VM and JProfiler other than the licensing? Because
That
our
is,
client is about to procure JProfiler. So, if I
Mhm.
can leverage the JVisual VM so that we'll stop procuring and we can use this JVisual VM, right?
No, the JVisual VM and all is somewhere in the kernel level only, Sunil. Kernel level means you will go to a level. After that, you will not have a detailed code base, source code base analysis and all will not be there. But in JProfiler, you will have a option to integrate with your IntelliJ or your Eclipse. You can integrate with your IDE, basically your development environment. So when there is a problem, you can click on it. You can click it, and then you can reach to a place where uh, uh, the actual issue is there. That's where this commercial tool and the open source tool is actually having a difference. You are getting my point, Sunil?
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
So that is the reason people are predominantly preferring to go with this the commercial one, because their fundamental is to do code level analysis, code profiling, right? So that is the reason people are preferring to use the JProfiler, YourKit kind of a tool.
And another question, let's say I have procured JProfiler, right? So I need to install it in where my code is there, right? I need to install it in JVM, right?
Yeah, that is actually saying local host JVM monitoring or remote host JVM monitoring, both are possible, whichever the way you want. Sometimes, application server, if we are unable to deploy a JVM, you can remotely connect and do the monitoring as well. That option is also there. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
or else, no, it will not create any overhead to my system. I don't want to worry about those things. I can straight away log in into the machine and then do the JVM monitoring also possible. Whichever the way you can do it.
Okay. Assume if I have two JVMs, so my code is running on two JVMs, right? So I can profile only one JVM at a time, right?
At a time only one, but say here also you can see Tomcat is also one JVM, JMeter is also one JVM, but we are able to see the JVM that are available. You are getting my point, right?
I mean to say two boxes, two different boxes, two instances. My code
Hmm.
is running. So we have a load balancer, but I cannot monitor both the servers together, right? I don't get a holistic view, right?
Yeah. What is the purpose of doing that? Any reason behind that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So actually, we are planning to do a batch performance testing. So
Okay.
where a batch will be running in batch server, and then we have a DB2 database.
Mm-hmm.
So our client wants to monitor both the batch server and then DB server with the
Mm-hmm.
JProfiler. I
Okay.
told them that it's not possible since it's the JProfiler standalone tool. You can
Mm-hmm.
configure it in one server or you can remotely monitor one JVM, not together like as an APM tool. So
Well, see, in that case, you launch a two instances and try to do it. No? Two different machines.
okay, you mean two? I need to open two JProfilers, one with batch server, another one DB server. That's what you're trying
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah. We can do it. See,
Okay.
actually saying multi-JVM concept is possible in JProfiler,
But with
but
any
we'll do. Yeah. What we will do, we, we will discuss offline. Maybe I need to understand little more details also.
Okay,
Based
sure.
on that, I'll provide the solution to you. Okay.
I'll connect after this call. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, Sunil. Yeah. So usually how it will happening, Sunil? There are case to case things will be. In your case, it is a different scenario, right? You are going to have a combined view of it. But there are times where a customer will say, I need to have a, single standalone monitoring that should give a end-to-end view. That also a requirement. So I'll discuss with you, Sunil. So definitely I'll understand the statement, and then we'll provide the solution.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your valuable question, Sunil. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to understand here, when we are triggering a load, when we are triggering a test in JMeter, or not only test, in real scenario also, it is not only JMeter simulation or load runner simulation, the real user who is accessing the system also, here using this JVisual VM or JConsole or your kit, JProfiler, all these tools will really help you to bring in that flavor. You can easily understand when the end user is actually hitting the application, how that really happening uh, in the application side, your application server side, how the load is actually triggered. That understanding we can bring. Okay, so during our course journey, you can see there is a very frequent garbage collection is happening. I'm going to explain you what is minor GC, what is major GC, how frequently minor GC should come, how frequently major GC should come. Major GC keep on coming means what is a problem, full GC coming frequently means what is a problem. Like that we are going to have an understanding. Okay, so that learning will be there, and then I'm going to explain the entire garbage collection process itself. Okay, actually in the last session they also wanted me to explain garbage collection of .NET also. So I explained the garbage collection of .NET as well, how it is happening. So maybe we'll explain that as well during this course journey. Garbage collection of .NET, what is happening. Okay, the slight naming convention different only, but I'll explain that as well during our course journey. So that understanding will be there, and then I'll go here, maybe for the benefit of you. So I know in this forum many are performance testers. Okay, performance tester who is aspiring to move to performance engineering side, right? So everybody should understand this fundamental. Um, you guys are using a browser to record your business flow, and then that is actually hitting your physical server, right? And then the tool, whatever the performance testing tools that you are using, will be in the middle to capture your traffic. Okay, this is how you as a performance tester you guys are doing. You are using a browser to record a traffic, and then that request is going to your physical server, and then it is getting back the response. That is what is really happening. You guys can think whatever the activity that we are doing during your record. Okay, this is what is happening during your recording. Okay, so what is happening from the browser, a request is actually triggered, and then it is going to the server. In the middle, man in the middle is nothing but your load testing tools, acts like a proxy server that is actually taking the, while giving the request, the browser is giving the request means it will take the copy of the request. Okay, and then it is giving it to the physical server. Physical server will process the request, and it will take and will give the response, right? What this tool will do, it will take the copy of the response, and then it is reaching to the browser. It is reaching to the browser. This is what is happening during the recording, guys. Okay, during the replay, what is happening during the replay, this entire layer is not there. This entire layer is not there. Only tool, what it is doing, it is having the recorded request, right? To that request, it will be giving it to the server. The server will process it, and then it will give back the response. The tool is having the copy of the response, it will compare the recorded response with the replayed response, and if it is same, it will say pass. If it is different, it will say fail. This is how all the performance testing tool in the industry is working. In the industry, this is how the entire performance testing tool is working. In this case, in this diagrammatic representation that I mentioned, which is missing, guys? What is missing in this journey?
Front end testing is missing. End user performance is missing.
That's all. End user performance testing is missing. So that is the reason I told you during our client side monitoring classes, you will get a lot of information. You will get a lot of understanding why we are doing where we are missing this metric. Why load runner JMeter in that we did not get that, and then that metric can be get it in your Chrome Dev Tools or GT metrics or web page test or Lighthouse. How I can convince my customer going forward, okay, we are giving a server-side metric alone because these load testing tools are talking in HTTP layer alone. It is not talking in the presentation layer. That is the reason I am unable to give that metric. So I am going to compensate with these single user performance testing tools. I am going to get the metric. I am going to submit to the customer. Like that, we are going to learn this. So that is the reason this client-side, the end user performance monitoring is very important. Nowadays, it's very, very important. Everybody started talking about that because we are lacking in that. And then this same thing I will also cover in Dynatrace tool because that is a leading APM tool in the industry now, right? I know people in this forum already aware what is Dynatrace, what is Appdynamics, what is Neuralink, kind of an understanding, right? In that, Dynatrace is one of the leading APM tool in the industry. So I'm going to give an extensive understanding of what is real user monitoring, what is static monitoring, what is host monitoring, what is network monitoring, how will you do the connection of your AWS machine in Dynatrace, how will you do the Smartscape monitoring, how to identify and understand the problem using the artificial intelligence of Dynatrace. Like that, we are going to learn. So that is also important value add thing we are going to get it because with that tool itself we can do a lot of things. It is not only a performance testing activity, it's also a performance engineering activity involved in that. As a developer, when the developer is using Dynatrace, they can do a unit testing, identify certain problem. As a performance tester, you can launch your application and then do a real user monitoring, or you can hit your application through a synthetic monitoring, or you can do, is there a problem with the network, is there a problem with the infrastructure? All those understanding can be done in the Dynatrace tool itself. And also, if you are a capacity planning engineer or you are a infrastructure monitoring engineer, so there also you have a wide range of understanding in Dynatrace. So learning that tool is a value add in our career because I know there are people are only doing the Dynatrace administration activity itself in an organization where Dynatrace is tool is there. Their job role is Dynatrace administration activity. People are working on that. So we are going to learn the Dynatrace tool as well. And then this profiling tool also we are going to learn JProfiler and URKit. In client-side monitoring also we are going to learn all the 4 different variety of tools. Along with that, I'm going to show you a JDK utility tools like JVisual VM and JConsole also we are going to learn. That is also going to give a wide understanding of what has happened to my thread during the execution. That also we can learn. Okay. So
Saranand,
just
any chance you're covering the network performance testing like Wireshark, like TCP/IP troubleshooting?
which is not part of the course content, but if you are interested to see, I will maybe in one of the class I'll try to cover that.
Okay.
Wireshark. Uh, but we don't want to go to the deeper level because as a performance engineer, we are not going to sniff anything. We are not going to do any information understanding on that. But one thing I wanted to tell, that is the reason I'm saying like we can go with that. Wireshark script can be converted into a load runner script. Did you know that, right?
Yeah.
Wireshark can be converted into a load runner script. So to bring that understanding, maybe I'll in one of the session I'll try to bring that flavor. Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll try to bring that as well. So usually when the course content is happening, we'll try to take like this also one or two topics wherein interest of the people and also it is a common interest. So we'll try to bring that as well. I think this will be really useful for others also. So I'll try to do that understanding soon. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So basically what we bring in the flavor is that like I have a application, right, this application, and I also going to use the Eclipse code program to execute and then see certain issues. Say I'll maybe just a minute. I did not prepare the environment, but we'll see that. What will I do? I'll stop this JMeter test and I'll close this instance also. If I go here, I will get my Eclipse also monitored. Eclipse also monitored. I can go to my thread tab. We'll see whether it is open. It is still opening. We'll see this in detail when we are going for our course journey also. For now, I'm trying to bring in a little understanding of thing. You can see there is a URKit icon is here. So when we are going for our course journey, I will be explaining how Eclipse will be integrated with the URKit and then how to do the profiling. And this is for your JProfiler integration. I will also show you how Eclipse integrated with the JProfiler. That also will be doing it. For now, I'm simply executing my program. Okay, I'm simply executing my program, which is a deadlock program. Okay, if I go here, what you can understand here, when we are doing a thread dump, when you are using this, when you are running this program, in the meantime, if you are trying to take a thread dump, you will be getting what are all the threads that are running, what are all the threads that are blocked, what for it is blocked, all those information will be learning. Okay, we'll be learning all the information. Say like if I, this is a program that I executed right now, right, which is a deadlock program. If I go straight away, you can go here, there is deadlock detected. You can see deadlock detected. What is that meaning? So as a programmer, you think your organization developer, he did something wrong in his code. While writing the code, he did something wrong in the code. You can monitor that in your JProfiler, URKit, JVisual VM, and the tool is able to identify there is a deadlock written by your developer, and you can see thread 1 and thread 2 are blocked. You can see the color coding is monitor. When the state is there in the monitor, that thread is actually blocked. That is a meaning. Okay, so those two threads are blocked. I know there is a problem. There is a problem detected by the JVisual VM tool. So what I can do, I can click the thread dump. If I click the thread dump, I can scroll down. Is there any problem detected with my thread? You can see the thread 2 and thread 1 is having a problem. It is saying blocked. It is saying blocked, and it is also saying com.example.memory leak deadlock program, and it is having the problem in 27th line. There is a problem in the 27th line. If I go back in the program, in this line there is a problem. In this line there is a problem. So with this you can also see here the logged status and all. I'll explain what is deadlock. During our course journey, we will be learning what is thread life cycle. In that, what is deadlock? Deadlock means one resource depending on other resource, like that we'll be learning. Okay, so I'll bring that understanding of what is this blocked threads, and we are also able to see that information here. Okay, see that information in the JVisual VM also. So when we are going for our regular course journey, I will be explaining this thread status also. What is each and every stack? This is called as stack trace. Okay, all these stack trace, how you are going to read and understand it. This, not only this tool, we have certain open source online tools are there. We'll learn that as well. GCEC, GC Viewer, Heap Hero, like that. We are going to learn each and everything, guys. That understanding we are going to get. Okay. Anybody have any question till now? You guys are clear, right? You guys are clear, right? Any questions? Somebody started asking.
Saravanan, are I going to show it in the command line prompt? I mean, usually we write some commands in the prompt command window, right? So for taking thread dump and heap dump, especially in the Linux machine, we cannot able to log in. Right?
Kill -3. Say, that's what I'll show all the variety of heap dump possibility and thread dump possibility. I'll be telling you. Okay, how to do the uh, commands. It may be JStack, JCommand, JConsole, JVisual, whatever. No, we'll try to understand whatever the possible way you can do a thread dump and possible way you can do a thread dump. Usually some five methods, right? 4 to 5 methods are available in these heap dump and thread dump. I will do that during the course journey soon. That is there actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Any further question?
From when we are going to start the actual sessions?
Tomorrow. Day 1 is from tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So what actually, just a minute. So this is our website, Isha Training Solutions website, wherein if you go and see the content here, and then those who are interested for the further detail to of the details in the self, like you planning to join our course journey, please reach out to Kumar. Kumar's number is this one. Kumar's number 8019952427. You can reach out to Kumar for further commercial related and then whatever the other clarifications required. You can reach out to Kumar. This is the Isha Training Solutions website. In that you can go and check the informations whatever we are required of. Please feel free to talk to my number also. I can post it. Usually 9790790293 is my number. Usually we are running a WhatsApp group as well, so all the communications will be happening in that. Those who are not part of the WhatsApp group, please post your number also, so that I'll try to add it in the group as well. Or you can share your Gmail ID so that we can have a communication. Whatever the communication we'll be doing now, we'll try to give that to you guys. So those who are interested to proceed with the course journey, please reach out to Kumar. As I mentioned, this is Kumar's number 8019952427. From tomorrow, our day one session will be progressing. So we'll that is what each and every session when we are covering. No, based on that, I will share those artifacts to you guys, like the war file that I mentioned, and then the documents, right? Artifact documents. We'll be sharing you post completion of each and every session. Just a minute.
And
Sheetal,
are we? Yeah.
Sheetal, I am unable to hear your voice, but I am able to read your chat. If you have any question, please post it here itself, Sheetal. Yeah. Somebody started asking question. Please ask your question.
So are we going to get the recorded sessions of these trainings as well?
Yes, daily your recorded videos will be coming to you. They will share the video in a playlist, and then it is a lifetime access to that video. You can have it. Sometimes, if exceptional cases, if you are unable to maybe attend the class, this video will be there, right? So that you can have a follow up. Uh, Exception case only I'm saying, but on a regular basis you can attend and you will get the videos.
Weekly,
Yeah,
how many? Sorry.
Sheetal, I shared my number. This is my number 9907909293. You can reach out to me for any clarifications. Definitely. Yeah, Madhavi.
How many classes will be there for weekly?
That is what planning to have 25 minimum of 25 classes. Okay, 25 classes. Sometimes it will spill over one or two, so it will be like 25 to 27 classes.
No, weekly, how many will be there? Like per
Weekdays,
week?
all weekdays, Monday to Friday.
Okay.
Monday to Friday. No classes on weekends.
And what would be the proposed time for classes?
This same time slot, 7 to 8.
7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay.
Yeah, because I know many are in this forum are the office going professionals. So definitely we don't want to disturb their regular timings, right? That is the reason this time slot. I don't think it is actually a good time slot. 7 to 8. You can have a learning and then we can do our regular things. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Like on the content that we are going to learn, or any clarifications required? Yeah, from I'll maybe summarize. Tomorrow we are going to start our day one session, and then those who are interested to proceed with the information, please reach out to Kumar sir, 8019952427. You can reach out to him, and uh, these are the course content that we are planning to cover. I think Sunil made a request like we can have a Wireshark understanding also. Yeah, in definitely in our one of the session we'll try to cover the Wireshark understanding also on a brief level. Definitely we'll do that. Okay.
Sarwan, this is Santosh. Can I call you? I have a question. Maybe I'll call you.
Sure, Santosh. Definitely. You guys can reach out to me at any point of time. If you are having any questions, please post it in the group, or you can post it to me as well. My number I already posted. You can post it to me as well, so that we'll clarify all your questions and things like. That is how I encourage people. It should always a dialogue session. It should not be a monologue session. I see in many of the sessions what people will do. They will mute everyone and they'll have a session and then they'll unmute everyone. But here I encourage people to ask questions so that it will be a healthy dialogue session. Healthy understanding will be there. So in our course journey also the similar understanding will be there, so that everybody will get the benefit. Okay, sure guys. We'll do that during our course journey as well. Thanks everyone. I hope Santosh and Sheetal will be reaching out to me for some clarification. definitely you can reach out to me post this session. If anybody else also can reach out to me for any clarification required, only specific to your organization, there are clarifications may be there. So please reach out to us, and then I'll remind again, like tomorrow the same 7 to 8 slot we'll be doing our day one session. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks for giving this opportunity for taking this demo session, and thanks everyone for making your time to come here and then do the demo session, attending this demo session. I hope we'll all group together, we'll learn together, and we'll understand this performance engineering concepts. We'll travel in this journey for the next few days. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.